Dr. Stein, thank you so much for being here in our panel. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want to know, can you tell me a little bit about your life before treatment for sleep apnea?
My life before treatment, I likely had it for a long period of time. The best indication that I had sleep apnea was my wife constantly telling me I was stopping breathing when I was sleeping.
Okay.
For years and years and years and years. And so quite likely I had it for years. I would say that for many years I've been a highly irritable, high-strung person, and I think that that's the most prevalent sort of indication.
That you had sleep apnea?
Yeah, stress, anxiety, what I would call mental illness. So there was a lot of it going on for years and years.
Okay. So once you got diagnosed, tell me your life after the treatment.
Oh, it was night and day. It was really quite amazing. Once you started using I got diagnosed. It took a while before I went on a CPAP machine, but once I went on it, it was really incredible, the difference. And at this particular stage, I'm into it now about 10 months, and my wife says that she's never known me to be calmer.
Wow. That's definitely made a difference. So tell me a little bit what has worked and not worked for you when it comes to, sleep apnea, your treatment.
I'd say the CPAP machine works pretty well. I think it's annoying. I would say that I do take it off, and when I fall asleep without it on, I'll take it off in the middle of the night for a while. Sometimes I'll take a nap without it.
Okay.
It feels like you're sort of like an elephant, snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that it's, I would strive for technology to try to figure out something different. But as a scientist and engineer and how it works, I can see why it works and why it's in a sense the gold standard.
What sort of advice would you give folks who has sleep apnea or hasn't been tested?
I would start off earlier and state that I think that given my experience and what I see around me within my own family and others, I think that it's far more prevalent than people think. I think that you should get away from the stigma, get yourself tested, although I think the test should be easier, and I think that you should get treated. And I think that especially people that are suffering from sort of any type of mental illness, it ought to be an instant question as sort of, how are you sleeping? In terms of my own experience, there was, sort of events of stress.
That led up to it.
Yeah, and I think that that's really what led up sort of to the cataclysm, is that there was stress, and I think the combination of stress and sleep apnea is deadly.
Yep.
Because what happens is that under stress, your mind is working to solve the problem. And when you have sleep apnea, you're constantly being woken up.
Correct.
And then your mind starts working on the problems again, and you just don't sleep. And that's really what happened to me. And I think that, again, I'm such a huge believer in mental illness at this particular point, given what happened to me a year ago and where I am now. Looking back on it, that I think that it's got to go hand in hand, and you got to ask yourself how many people are suffering from mental illness or really suffering from sleep apnea, because it's going to affect your brain the most.
Correct.
So did I answer the question? I think so.
You did. Do you have any other comments or to give?
I'll go extend upon what I said earlier, is that I think that there's a lot more people that have it that are not being treated. I think there's sort of denial involved in that.
Correct.
Partially. But the other problem that goes beyond that is all of a sudden you get to the point of going, I identify all these people that now have sleep apnea like people have blood pressure.
Yep.
And now we need to treat them. And now how do we treat, orders of magnitude more people than we're treating now? And I think that that's where the FDA and the industry is sort of need to start to chime in and go, I think that the people that manufacturing CPAP machines ought to think a little bit more like, Advil on the shelf, that you have the CPAP aisle in the CVS or the Walgreens, and everybody can go in there and grab one
and just go.
And just go. And that's where we need to get as a society, I believe, based on my experiences.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here again.
Okay. Thank you.